Bloody Mary. Perhaps the most famous modern myth, this tale suggests that if you are to look in the mirror and say Bloody Mary a specified number of times, something will happen. It's the what that legend disagrees on. In the earliest versions, an unmarried woman would see the face of her future husband in the glass or a skull if she were destined to die before being Wednesday. This evolved into something more gory, groups invoking a bleeding spirit or witch called Mary. Some links have also been made to Queen Mary I as she suffered multiple miscarriages during her reign. La Llorona. Though Use grew up with this particular folktale, which originates in Mexico and is about a mother named Maria, who threw her children into a river upon realizing that her husband was unfaithful. She immediately regretted the impulsive act, and so legend says that if you lurk around rivers or arroyos, which is basically just a fancy way of saying dry creek or gullies, after dark, you might come across her wailing spirit. La Llorona wears a highly haunting all-white lace outfit, and laying eyes on her will bring you death. Tomino's poem. This popular Japanese story is about a poem called Tomino's Hell. They say that you should only read with your mind, and never out loud. If you were to read it out loud, then you must take responsibility for your actions. Tomino is a Japanese urban legend about a poem that kills anyone who recites it out loud. In this world there are things that you should never say out loud, and the Japanese poem Tomino's Hell is one of them. According to the legend, if you read this poem out loud, disaster will strike. At best, you will feel very ill or injure yourself. At worst, you could die. Black-eyed kids. The black-eyed children, also called black-eyed kids, are mysterious beings that look to be of kids between the ages of 6 to 16-year-old. They only appear at night and to unsuspecting adults alone in parking lots or in their homes. The kids come in groups of 2 or more and often ask for favors. The favor could be to make a phone call, to get a ride home, to come in and get something to eat, or to use the bathroom. The few people who have had interactions with the black-eyed kids express feeling unexplainable fear when the children are near. No one really knows where they come from. Extraterrestrial, UFOs, vampires, and of course, demons are a number of the assumptions around the kids. The skunk ape. The Everglades are filled with an array of terrifying creatures: man-eating alligators, man-eating snakes, man-eating roadkill. However, one human-like figure has been spotted enough times to warrant elevated levels of concern: the skunk ape. A relative of Bigfoot, a fully-grown skunk ape stands anywhere from 5 to 7 feet tall and weighs approximately 450 pounds. They can be detected by a horrific odor that's been described as sun-baked animal carcass and rotting garbage. They mostly eat berries and small animals, but from time to time they've been known to ravage farms and tear wild boars to shreds. Recently, a skunk ape has popped up in the Everglades, where you can book tours out into the swamp or reserve a spot on a hunting expedition to finally prove the hairy beast is real once and for all. Stull's gateway to hell. The tiny town of Stull has counted very few residents since it was founded in 1856. The most famous is rumored to be Lucifer himself, who some say appears at the town cemetery on Halloween and spring equinox. They say he uses the site where a roofless church once stood as a portal to hell. Some say that he's drawn to the site of frequent witch hangings. Others believe one of the graves actually contained Satan's own child. Either way, new graves continue to be dug, despite signs warning against trespassers, perhaps referring directly to the Prince of Darkness himself or the cults that are rumored to flock to the grounds. Shadow people. There is no way to prove or disprove any theories about a phenomenon that is so mysterious, that happens so quickly and without warning. Science finds it virtually impossible to catalogue or study such phenomena in any methodical way. All we can do, at present, is to document personal experiences and try to piece together what the shadow people phenomenon might be. Perhaps it's an old mystery becoming more recognizable, perhaps it represents a doorway to and from different planes of existence, or perhaps they simply are just shadows. Those who are experiencing and studying the shadow people phenomenon say that these entities almost always used to be seen out of the corner of the eye and very briefly. But more and more, people are beginning to see them straight on and for longer periods of time. Some experiencers testify that they have even seen eyes, usually red, on these shadow beings. Most reports on shadow people are overwhelming negative. Encounters with shadow people tend to be accompanied by a feeling of dread, according to many reports, but there are allegedly different types of shadow beings, and some of them are non-threatening. Most of the time, though, it's just dark and scary. Apparently there's one type of shadow person that is said to be more demonic in nature, and that's known as the Hat Man, and is reportedly seen wearing a top hat and suit. Other times, shadow people have been reported to attempt a physical attack during an encounter, similar to some sleep paralysis experiences. Shadow people are sometimes discovered by a person who wakes up to find them trying to choke or suffocate them, said Hollis in an interview with Coast to Coast AM. Certain belief systems and folklore describe the shadow people as either a black mass of humanoid shape or as shadowy figures that crawl around at night. The Cherokee Indians reported shadow people throughout their history. In Cherokee folklore, the Raven Mocker was supposed to be a creature described almost exactly like shadow people. The Cherokee legend said it was the spirit of a dead Cherokee witch and it came back from the other world to prey on the living.